Peace TV. Peace TV English, the solution for humanity.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. This is Omar Dexter again from the UK, and joining me all the way from Australia again is Brother Musa Serantonio. I'm going to talk a little bit about history to start with, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Brother Omar. And indeed, at that time, you'd see the rulers were quite just. Now, there was two main peaks where the Muslim Ummah was threatened at this time. The first one happened about 300 years in. What happened was the Muslims who had stayed in that one area of Spain had really built themselves up. They've been waiting all of this time. And finally they started to push forward. And they were really taking a lot of land. They would have had help from all of the Christians throughout Europe.
All the people that was happy to live under Muslim rule, knowing what it was.
Indeed. So the Christians were pushing down. And what had happened was the Khalifa, he knew that at that time, the state wasn't very strong. Some of the people had fallen back. And if you look at the accounts in history, you'll see that wine drinking was prevalent. You'll see that Muslims were involved in statue making, dancing, music, all of these things which are forbidden by Islam. And once these are really thriving, and they weren't just happening in the homes, they were actually happening in the court of the Khalifa.
Wow, right from the top down.
Indeed. So when this is happening, you can sort of see that things aren't going as they should Islamically. Things had dropped down over time.
The people, they don't have themselves to blame. There's no complaining to Allah when they are behaving like that. And then they see the result over time.
Indeed, they'd only brought it upon themselves.
Yep.
Now,
the good things is from Allah, and the bad things are from ourselves.
What the Khalifa had decided at this time, he knew that were the Christians to push forward, they wouldn't really have a line of defense. So he thought he hasn't got anyone else in Europe to call upon to help him, because all of their neighbours were basically Christian, and they all wanted to push down and defeat the Muslim empire. However, he looked beyond the Mediterranean, and there was a group of Muslims who were basically in what we'd know today as Morocco. Now these were very, very strong Muslims. They were very strong sticking to Islam, unlike how the people had become in Andalus. So you can call them basically the modern Muslims that were in Andalus. They had sort of departed from most of the religion. So the Muslims who were the really practicing religions, they had a suspicion of them. They always liked to keep them out of Spain.
Right.
But at this time, in a time of need, the Khalifa had to make a decision. He said, either I can fight by myself and lose this land, or I can call upon the Muslims to come defend us. But he knew if the Muslims were to come through from northern Africa, they would also take the land, because they would come forward, they would defend the land, and it would be theirs after that.
But surely if they're Muslim, that's a better thing for
of
them,
course.
because they know what it is. Even though many of the people were sinful, they must know deep in their hearts that it was wrong what it was doing.
And basically this was the decision he had to make. And there's an amazing saying that he said regarding this. He said, I would rather be herding camels than herding pigs. And basically the understanding of this was,